Thank you so much for speaking to me. Um, Fabulous series, by the way. What I really wanted to
Thank
know, kind
you.
of, I love the series. What I wanted to know from both of you was your approach to use conversation as an art of storytelling, especially when it came to getting into the lives of these people so that it's both universal, but at the same time, it's individual.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We
Can you talk about, yeah, yeah.
well, my one of the things we were with a couple of people, more than a couple, is we got really into the idea of finding out about their moms, which I just thought that was, you know, moms often get left out of these conversations, and there were a couple of the interviews where it was really important to understanding who they were, and that goes to your point of like that's a super personal thing about somebody, who the mother is, their relationship to their mom, but it's also universal in the sense that all of us, think about
Mhm.
that relationship. And for all of us, it's almost all of us, it's an incredibly important one. So that was a kind of trick we were using to get into some of these interviews.
Uh, Very nice. So then also I was kind of wondering when you came to deciding who to speak to, was it more about how they influenced others or how they've been influenced?
No, Ken, you want to take that?
I think that it was, I think, most of the people we definitely were talking about how they've been influenced. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think the fact that we were having a conversation with them, the idea that they had an influence on others was a big part of, the conversation. But, it was, like Malcolm said, one of the big things that sort of the thematics that through lines that we try to start with as much as we could is like, what was your influence with your mom or your surrogate mother figure in your life? And like, was trying to find out, is there like a sort of secret sauce to getting someone to this place, or the thing that makes people feel ambitious or feel like they've achieved something. And I think that what we ended up finding each and every time was something different, but something also equally amazing.
Okay. And also what I love is kind of the name, the unusual suspects. These are people, they're so vastly different. Can you talk about, for both of you, kind of the definition behind that and what were the criteria that had to be met in order to be an unusual suspect?
Yeah. Well, it had to be somebody who we were, I mean, these are all people we respect and admire. So they're all people who had made a mark on the world, but they had to be somebody about whom we had questions. We were curious, people whose stories weren't obvious. And I think in a couple of these cases, in all of these cases, there were moments in the interview where it's like where I was just like, you know, I can't believe what we're hearing. I mean, this is coming as such a surprise, or it's wow, this person is this way. They're all people about whom we had questions. We were curious. So it's not when you go after the A-lister, very often you know everything you already need to know about the A-lister. So what you really want is the A-minus lister. That's how I would describe these people.
Okay. And so with that, was there a particular, I was wondering about the formatting of the show, of knowing what it was to ask, what part of it was to listen. Was there particular information that you had already wanted to know beforehand, or was it more about the conversation that led to those questions?
I think it's, oh, Ken, you want to go first?
No, I think go ahead. I want to hear what you say because it was an interesting question.
I prepared for each interview, but I was in every case, I ended up putting a lot of those prepared questions aside. The conversation, we just kind of followed, as my dad used to say, we followed our noses, um, because there was so much that was surprising and weird in a really good way. Or, I did not know that when we were talking to David Chang, he's going to start talking about how obsessed he was with golf as a kid, and how that kind of fit into my understanding of his success as a chef. Those are kinds of things that just in the moment we were reacting to what we were learning.
Yeah, I feel like that. I felt like that was a really, really big part of it, is to be, in any conversation. I think that's one of the most important things is the authenticity of it, and the authenticity of it. The preparation comes, any good interviewer, you want to make sure that you have enough questions and some things to ask a person so that you're not just going into a blind. But the authenticity of it usually comes when you're actually prepared to sort of like take what you hear and actually respond to it and react, and there's a jazz component to it, and I definitely feel like that is something that I feel like we got out of this that made these conversations, some of them in particular, really special.
Through this process, you're both obviously friends. What did you learn about each other?
I
I
learned I learned a
well,
lot.
so every time he would every time show up in some unbelievable outfit, and I would be jeans and a sweatshirt, and I would feel like a complete. I just learned that I gotta up my game if I'm going to hang with Kenya.
I think I learned I have to down my game. I told Malcolm he dresses like a feral billionaire, like he dresses like someone who really legitimately, you know, has made so much money that it's all nice stuff, but it's like it literally is thrown together in such a way. I'm like, like he might have $17 billion stuffed in like a cash bag somewhere.
Not, not, not quite.
So then what is also it's interesting, everyone is successful in their own field and what they do. Do you feel that there was a defining thread between them as to not what makes someone successful, but kind of what helps them to achieve their goal to the next level?
Well, they're all, nobody in our lineup was
Mhm.
bland. They were
No,
all There was so much kind of quirkiness and eccentricity and idiosyncrasy and you know, everyone was there was an extra gear that everybody had that I didn't necessarily expect. I did not expect Westmore to be movie star charismatic. I just,
yeah,
you know, I did not expect, you know, Dre to be as complicated and as, impenetrable and sort of and cerebral as he was. I'd been fooled by the videos into thinking that it was going to be like we were going to be laughing it up. Um, there was all this, everybody had a kind of, or that Ursula Burns, which is, I didn't realize that I was just going to be with someone who had an IQ of 200 and who,
without easily, she
yeah,
just do everything. Westmore had, "I'll take your bitch" energy, and I just was like, oh man, I can never bring this guy around anybody I'm dating. Like he walked in the room and just like lit the room up. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that was the only one where I did feel very old and very unattractive when
Yes.
when
He
I
walks
was.
in and politicians can be politicians, you know what I'm saying? And but it was just like the riz that he had was just jumped off the page. And like in Ursula, like Malcolm said, like you when you're talking about someone who's just effortlessly brilliant, you know what I'm saying, probably has close to a photographic memory. You know what I'm saying? The way she was able to sort of recall things from the smallest to the largest and moments and and the way that Sue Bird's the humbleness that she would display compared to the for just ferocious nature of the way she played the game. You know what I'm saying? And obvious, just it was I learned something about everyone, you know what I'm saying, each part, and I feel like that they were all there was nothing, nothing stood out specifically other than just they all had a little bit of dog in them. You know what I'm saying? They all had that sort of like that thing of like they all had a moment where they were like, we're gonna that go for it moment. And that was something that, if anything, I think that I saw from a lot of them.
Yeah, I would agree.
You both of you turn the tables on yourself. It's not just you interviewing other people. There's an episode where you talk to each other. What I wanted to know with that is why do you feel that that was important? You also because you both are very important in the fields of what you work in, but also to kind of expose yourself to the audience to give them a deeper story about yourself.
I just
I
think
think
um if you're going to listen, if you're going to be listening to us explore other people's lives, it helps to know where we're coming from.
Exactly.
I think that was it's really about, quite apart from the fact that was really fun to do. I just think it's really useful in something like this to provide context to the listener, and that's what that interview was a really fun exercise in providing context.
I'm a believer in any book you read, any movie you watch. The greatest job that the writer or filmmaker or whoever has to do is character. Is to explain character and create character. If you can understand a character, you can go along with that character, no matter and them doing things that you would never think possible. But if you can understand, so I think I got a bigger understanding of who Malcolm was. The audience got a bigger understanding of who Malcolm was. Malcolm got a bigger understanding of who I was. The audience got, and I think that subsequently then helps to inform when we're asking questions where we're coming from. And I think it also was really important and was fun to do for me as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for speaking to me. Excellent podcast series, by the way.
Thank you.